Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have a quick question for you. Well, I sort of have a situation, a would you rather situation. Tell me, would you rather know how you are going to die, or would you rather know when you are going to die? It's a tricky situation, I know. Tell me in the comments down below. For me, personally, ever since I came to know about this situation, I always thought that it would be quite okay to know when I was going to die, because if you know how you are going to die and not when you are going to die, then you will fear your entire life doing that particular activity. For example, if you know that you are going to die in a car accident, then you will spend your entire life either not sitting in the car at all or always fearing sitting in the car, because you will fear, what if this is my last time sitting in the car? With knowing when you are going to die, it's like you will live your entire life to the fullest and say your goodbyes and stuff like that, and then die peacefully. But reading they both die at the end changed that perspective. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This book was first published in 2017. I like the cover because it shows an hourglass, and same at the back, it feels as if time is running out. So, and these dots are falling into the bottom side of the hourglass and also the letters. So I like the creativity. They Both Die at the End is a pretty straightforward title as well. Like, if you can put two and two together, if you read the blurb, and even if you not read the blurb, you can assume pretty vividly what happens at the end. It's not a spoiler. That's the basic premise of the novel. So I'm gonna say it. They both die at the end. So I was actually a little bit skeptical before going into this book, because I was like, what if it's depressing? But I'm glad that I read it, even though I have some issues with it, which we will talk about in a bit. First, let me give you a brief summary of the novel. So the book is divided into 4 different parts, and you will read about the different timestamps and what these two characters do in those particular timestamps. Anyway, so the story is basically about these two people, and their name Matteo and Rufus. I hope that I'm pronouncing these names right. Matteo and Rufus both are strangers to each other. They don't know anything about each other. Matteo is, I think he's 18 and Rufus is 17. And they haven't had their paths crossed or anything like that. They live in completely different world, but in the same city. They have completely different personalities. I would say they have opposite personalities. Matteo is a homebody. He is not a risk taker at all. He likes to keep his life really simple and likes to stay in his home as much as possible. Whereas Rufus is much of the adventure seeking type. He's an outgoing person. He likes to be out there, explore new things, make new friends and stuff like that. So basically what sets this story apart from other stories is obviously the concept of the novel, because you're reading it after knowing that these two people that you're going to know about are going to die at the end. But how the premise is set is that there is an organization called Death Casters, and basically there are different death casts, people who are hired in that organization. They are called death casts, and from 12 midnight to 3 a.m. in the night, obviously, they call thousands and thousands of people every single night to let them know that in the next 24 hours they are going to die. So this is basically their last day. Just imagine receiving a phone call at midnight or during the hours of the night when you are alone with your thoughts, and just hearing someone say, okay, hey, how are you doing? I just wanted to let you know that you are going to die in the next 24 hours. And no one knows when. You just know that at the end of this 24 hours, you are not going to be there in this world, but no one knows when actually you're going to die. You might die 1 minute after receiving the call. You might die 10 minutes after receiving the call. You might die at the very end of the 24 hours. No one knows. That makes it quite freaky. And you might wonder how long one day could be, how long 24 hours could be. This long. 24 hours or a day could be this long. This entire book is based on one day. It takes you on the journey of these two people and how they spend their 24 hours. So Matteo and Rufus, both different people, they receive the phone call that they are going to die at the end of the next 24 hours. The fact that you don't know when exactly you are going to die is something that made me anxious throughout the entire novel, because I was like, oh my god, I don't want this one person to die and leave the other person, because I like their friendship. I extremely enjoyed reading their conversations and their interactions throughout the entire novel. and it is something that was so pure and so beautiful to read, because they didn't have any other like motives to their friendship except for enjoying these last 24 hours and being in each other's company, because they are both going to die at the end. The language used in this novel is really, really easy. So it's a perfect book for beginners. So if you are a beginner, you can definitely go ahead, grab this and read it. There is also a constant shift in perspectives. New characters were being introduced, and then we were getting to read their perspectives. So I was confused. I would forget who the character was, but I feel like so many perspectives could have been done away with, because they kind of create a lot of chaos and a lot of confusion in the novel. Next thing that I want to say is, even though it's such an easy read and like the language is super easy and the flow of the story is extremely beautiful and smooth as well, I personally was unable to read this novel quickly. Like, it is a 1 day or 2 day read max, but I finished it in a week because I was reading it at quite a fast pace in the beginning, and all of a sudden I was laying down with my mother and she started talking to me about something, and all of a sudden I had this really heavy feeling in my heart, and I was like, why am I feeling so sad about myself? And all of a sudden I had this realization that I was putting myself in the shoes of these people, and I was thinking that it was also my last day and my mother was talking to me and I felt as if like she was seeing me for the last time. It was such an awkward and such a weird feeling all at the same time. So I had to close the book down because it freaked me out. Honestly speaking, I could relate to a lot of the things that are mentioned in this book, especially the character Matteo. I could relate to that a lot because I am like that in real life. And I'm not proud of that. I am a massive homebody. I would rather spend my day at home than anywhere else. If I'm provided with the right company, with exciting people and adventurous people, I become like them, and I love spending time outside as well. So like personally as well, I am not per se scared with the idea of death. Like I'm not, I don't know. Are we scared of death? Are you scared of death? I would say I'm not, but then when I think about it, I do, because it's such an unknown territory. No one has ever died and come back and told the other people that this is what's going to happen to you after death. You know, it's such an unknown territory in a world where information is literally at the tip of our fingers. We can Google something and it can show us millions of answers to that, but death is that one thing which no one knows about. And it makes it such a freaky thing as well. But death is also the only reality of this world, of this life as well. Like, it's the only reality. Death is something that is gonna happen to everyone. Like, we all are mortal beings and we all have to die. And when, how, nobody knows. However, I did not like certain things. Number one is the fact that it's not the main story. Obviously, the main story is of Rufus and Matteo. But then there is also a story which takes up quite a space in your head because it's such a beautiful story. It's the story of Delilah and Victor. You spend reading this entire novel and you read the snippets of Delilah and you read the snippets of really like minimalist snippets of Victor, but at the end of the novel, like almost the very last chapter, you read this perspective of Delilah and Victor, and it's like the story is left untold. There is no end to that story, and as a reader, I was desperate to know about what happened to these two people, because I don't know, even though I had read them in a really minimal way, I was still hooked to their story and I wanted to know what happened to these two characters. That was my issue number one. So issue number two is related to a spoiler. So skip the next few seconds if you want to. I'm at the very end of this video. Issue number two was the inclusion of romance in the novel. I was extremely happy when I realized that it's the novel based on pure friendship, but towards the end of it, the author has included romance in it, and it caught me off guard. Not only that, but also like there was no need for it. They had such a cute friendship going on, and it wasn't like there was no hint of romance at all in the entirety of the novel as well. So the romance in the end felt really forced. I just want to add a quote now because I absolutely loved it. It says, it's the quote at the beginning of part 2 in the novel. It says, "A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. It's such a beautiful quote, especially if you can relate to not feeling comfortable in taking risks and like not being comfortable in going outside of your comfort zone. So if you are a beginner, I would highly recommend this book. If you like to read different kind of novels, like something that is slightly different from what is out there, then this is also a novel for you. I will give this book a 3.5 out of 5. And with that note, we have come to the end of this video. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to add anything to this review, do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And if you want to follow me on my socials, the links are in the description. And I will see you guys really soon, inshallah. Till then, take care. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.